What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Dragon Ball Legends video on Dragon Ball Central. Today, we're going to be talking about the Ultra Space Time Summon number 11. I have a lot of issues with this banner, ranging from the characters themselves to the actual banner and deals that they put out with the most recent update. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. All right, guys. So before we actually get into the details of the characters themselves and why I need to recommend not summoning on this banner, we're going to talk about something that's been a bit of a worrying trend recently with Bandai. So as you guys can see, 5% chance of pulling a Sparking and a 20% chance of pulling an Extreme as per usual. 40 Extremes going to be on this banner, 38 Sparkings under that 5% chance. And it's very important to note here that this does not mean that you have less of a chance of pulling one of these new characters. It means that you do have less of a chance of pulling a specific character that you want out of, all of the other characters that are on the banner. These still have a 1% chance, okay? The new ones are always going to have a 1% chance, knock on wood. Hopefully, they don't change that in the future unless they make it higher. Right now, though, 1% chance of a new Sparking is standard. That's what we see unless we're on, a step-up banner where you do have sort of changed odds, but those are going to be positive changes, not negative changes. So this is not bad, okay? Don't get me wrong. This is not the message I want to put out there. A lot of people seem to think that the new Sparkings have a lower shot of being pulled since it is 38 Sparkings under a 5% chance. That is not true. And if you go and scroll down, you're going to see that the rest of the Sparkings on the banner, there are a lot of them. Most of them are old, okay? Most of them are not Sparkings that you're going to want. There are a few good supports. Gotenks a good support. Obviously, Majin Buu, good support. Dabura, good support. Bardock's good. Shield is good. Again, it's the same as the Gogeta banner where there are a lot of good ones towards the bottom, but you have over a 1 in 2 chance if you're pulling one of the older Sparkings of pulling a completely irrelevant Sparking. That's not good whatsoever. That's not power creeped in any way, shape, or form. Has not been buffed in any way to make it more relevant in the current meta. And generally is just not going to be something you're happy about, okay? So it's really, really important to look at all of this and realize that this is a negative change, but not as negative of a change as you might have originally thought if you thought that they did make it the same shot of pulling any given Sparking. Again, 1% on each of the new Sparkings. That is going to mean that it's the same chance of pulling the new Sparkings as it was beforehand. But these older Sparkings, you can't rely on getting one of 2 other Sparkings that are featured on the banner. You're going to have this whole pool of Sparkings you can get. And for older players, that's going to suck because you want to get specific Sparkings. You want to have a pool of 5 that you can pull from and have an equal chance of pulling each of them. You don't want this huge pool that includes a ton of completely irrelevant and old characters. Now, if you're a new player, this might be pretty decent for you, but it, again, and I've seen this echoed by a lot of other content creators and people in the community, it sort of defeats the purpose of the Master Pack banners if you're going to have Sparkings on every single banner that are very similar to that. If you have every other Sparking on the banner, then what's the point of Master Pack banners? You have a chance of pulling them in the same way on this banner if you spend a lot of Chrono Crystals. So it's kind of a bummer that there aren't just 2 other options other than the new characters now on these Ultra Space Time summons. And, it's negative, but it's not as big of a negative, again, as, you might have thought if you thought that it did reduce the rates on those new characters. Now, that is not the main negative for this update, okay? That is a big negative for this update, but not the main one, okay? We're going to head on over to the featured characters. We're going to talk a little bit about Goku, Vegeta, and Rildo real quick. All right, guys, so we're going to go over generally each of these new characters. I do think it's kind of important to talk about them. So at 3 stars, definitely a little bit underwhelming as far as Super Saiyan Goku is concerned. Tops out at 84.5k blast attack. And, you go down, he has a Destroy card, Arts card here, so that's pretty cool. Double Blast, and, a lot of character tags that do have some relevance as far as their teams are concerned. All of them actually going to have some relevance as far as teams are concerned. GT maybe farther down the line going to have an actual team to go on, but as for the rest of them, really, really good. Now, main ability going to be initiated after 5 timer counts. You're going to be able to actually use that and get a nice buff. Arts card draw speed going to be going up for 2 levels for 5 timer counts. Get you a nice combo extension. And then on top of that, damage inflicted going to be going up, as well as a unique ability that starts out 60 timer counts going to be going off there. 40% blast damage inflicted and minus 15 to own blast arts cost. Reduces damage by 20%. So really a pretty good kit on this character, but is he going to be some sleeper OP unit for a really, really long time like Broly is, or Gogeta will be? you know, maybe not. Maybe it's going to be a character that, you know, some people pull and get him, you know, 3 to 5 stars. He's going to be good. He's going to be versatile, go on a lot of teams, and be a very powerful green option for the decent future, maybe like a month or so from now. But he's going to get outdated much, much quicker than other overpowered units will. And I don't think he is meta breaking in any sense. I don't think he's an instant include on most teams. I think that he's just powerful enough to be used in certain instances, in certain situations, in certain, you know, color dominant metas, but maybe not in most other spots. All right, guys, Super Saiyan Vegeta is actually probably the best unit on this banner, and that might catch some flack down in the comments because I know that some people think that Rildo is the best unit on this banner, but Vegeta has a lot of power packed into him. Now, his stats are not amazing, okay? They are good enough, but they're not amazing. Now, it's important to note, though, that the damage output he's going to be able to put out is much, much higher than you'd think based on his stats alone. Going over to his main ability, which just has a massive wall of text, okay? You're going to do 40% extra blast damage to your opponents. You're going to be able to see their health restoration go down. You're going to restore your own ki, so you can actually use this as a combo continuer off of the first combo because it's only 10 timer counts to be able to initiate this main ability. And on top of that, you're going to be able to get an additional +5 to substitution count for 15 timer counts. So very, very powerful. Z ability going to be relevant as well, buffing his own preferred method of attack. Going to his unique abilities, that's the really crazy thing, okay? Unfading Fighting Spirit inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade 15% damage received through 15 timer counts every time this character uses a Blast Arts card. So if you're using a Blast Arts focused team, this is OP, all right? You're going to get a lot of those stacked up at once, and it is going to be very, very powerful. On top of this, a Vegeta family team, you know, a generally tag team, you know, the Vegeta family team is going to be very, very powerful in and of itself because, you know, Cabba's very powerful with that team. And on top of that, there are other options as far as the Vegeta family team is concerned, you know, unique abilities that are going to take full advantage of that and be very, very powerful. So all in all, definitely an extremely powerful unit and definitely going to output a lot of damage. Also has Intimidate Strike Arts cost up, which is very, very nice to have as well. Just a nice little utility thing to throw in there. Is he going to be meta breaking? No. Is he going to be meta relevant? Yes. Finally, guys, we have got Hyper Meta-Rilldo. Now, Rildo is a little bit of an interesting situation here. Does have good defenses, has good crit, has good strike attack. So, you know, you're starting off on the right foot. It's not amazingly overpowered or anything like that, but it's good enough to deal, you know, a decent amount of damage and also be able to take advantage of every bit of utility that he does have. Character tags are kind of lacking. Merging and GT not going to have any support, really. And, you know, double strike arts going to be pretty nice. Z ability is lacking as well, as you guys can see. Going to have strike attack and defense from even 3 stars, but it's not going to be anything useful because it's going to be an element-based Z ability. So it's focusing on, you know, a mono red team, basically. Is that going to be relevant? No. No, not at all. But very, very interesting main abilities and unique abilities here. So if you go ahead and take a look at the main ability, definitely a lot of utility here. 70% chance to inflict heavy bleed for 20 timer counts upon landing a strike arts hit. That is very powerful. 40% of damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. That is also powerful. You get a nice 2-card combo extender as well for the 40 key that you're going to get, and you draw a strike arts card. You know, it's a forced draw, which means that you're going to be able to use at least 20 of that key that goes ahead and restores there. So pretty decent utility on that main ability, and heavy bleed also very, very good as far as, you know, just generally those sorts of things are concerned. You know, these status ailments, if you will, they're definitely it's sort of a toss-up, but heavy bleed's a really, really good one generally because it does hit through the substitute. If they're just vanishing left and right and, you know, switching out constantly, they're still going to be bleeding through that and continually losing, you know, 5,000 HP per timer count, which is very, very good for you because it'll stack up over time. Now, Weapon of Extermination going to be the main thing that's going to make Hyper Meta-Rilldo possibly the most meta-relevant down the line that comes out of this banner. And by that, I mean, you know, once we get more GT support or more merging support, because he does have a lot of utility here. Going to make it so basically, you know, your Tail Vegeta, your Zamasus, your Hercules, they're not going to be able to actually re-heal themselves once they go down to 0 HP. They're going to actually have their ability nullified, and that's going to be a very, very valuable thing to have access to. They're going to immediately die on the first time you remove their entire health amount, which is just really, really good. Also hits through cover, which is incredibly good. And then on top of that, a 50% to strike damage inflicted for 20 timer counts when this character enters the battlefield. So essentially, you're getting a 50% buff to that already decently high strike attack. So Hyper Meta-Rilldo definitely has a lot of power behind him. And then on top of that, nullifies abnormal conditions and restores own health by 10% when this character is switched to standby. That is an instant thing, not a gradual thing over timer counts. So all in all, definitely a very, very good character by himself, but will he synergize with other characters? Not yet, unfortunately. So personally, I think Super Saiyan Vegeta is going to be very meta relevant. He's probably going to pull together the Vegeta family team a little bit farther and make it so it's even more relevant than it already was. And it already was pretty darn good, honestly. You look over to Super Saiyan Goku, maybe not too relevant, but very versatile, has a lot of utility, and as such might be used, sparingly in certain teams, maybe as like a support, maybe as a main character in certain metas, kind of depends, we'll have to see. And then Hyper Meta-Rilldo, I wish that we had more merging support, or he had like some other tag that actually made him more relevant in this game, because right now, he basically is going to be a one-off. He might go on mono purple. I could actually really, really see that happening. As that one unit that's off to the side. If you're not focusing on the damage output that, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan can provide, then maybe you look over to Hyper Meta-Rilldo for the utility he can provide, as well as the really good damage output. Now, I wouldn't say that you should be spending very many Chrono Crystals on this banner, and there are a lot of reasons for that. I've gone over basically why these characters are going to be pretty decent, but not, amazingly meta-impactful or meta-defining. I still think that regen's going to be the main, thing to beat right now. And on top of that, we have this absolute abomination here, okay? Now, this is $8. It's really not that crazy of a thing to be asking for 20 silver bells, and I will say, if you're getting started with this game, if you're a new player, this is actually really good value, because you're guaranteed to get a sparking from this, but that's not even the reason why you're going to want this, okay? 100 skip tickets, so much energy. This is actually 290 energy, guys. That is a lot of energy to be able to get through early game content and be able to just knock out a ton of free Chrono Crystals, get built up for the eventual anniversary coming in just over a month, guys. And that is mainly going to mean that you guys are going to want to get this if you're new to the game. If you're older, a veteran of the game since day one, or since, not too long after release, you've been playing for a while, spent quite a bit on the game at this point in time, maybe you don't want to buy this, because it's $8 and you have a chance from this ticket of getting absolute garbage. All right, you can get some good stuff, but you can get absolute trash from it. I actually saw Lethal Hit got an Itku, a instant transmission Goku, if you guys don't know what that means. Basically, just a completely outdated character, not used at all anymore in anything other than maybe support or in the Ultra Space Time Rush. And that's pretty much it. You don't use that character anymore because he's very, very outdated. Was one of the first major characters to get it implemented into the game, and is just completely outdone by very, very normal, not crazy powerful extremes nowadays, let alone sparkings. So definitely not going to be amazing value if you do end up buying that and getting something garbage out of it. You already have a ton of skip tickets and energy tickets saved up. Don't get this. Don't worry about this. Don't buy these deals, by the way, all right? These are awful deals. $41 for 3,000 Chrono Crystals is an absolute ripoff. You're paying over $10 more than you should need to for this specific package. Not a good deal at all. Don't buy it. Please, please, please don't buy it. And you should be able to see that based on the fact that $24.99 is $3 past what you would normally spend. Actually, $4 past what you would normally spend for a good deal on Chrono Crystals for 2,000 Chrono Crystals, all right? You can usually get them 2,000 for $20.99, so $16.50 for $25. Not a good value. Don't buy it, please. I'm begging you guys, don't do this. Don't support this. And maybe, just maybe, they will reconsider their decisions right now and make it so, there aren't maybe 40 sparkings on a 5% chance, and you still can get absolutely shafted by the banner and not get any sparkings. Maybe they'll reconsider some of their decisions that just aren't very, I guess, player friendly. You know, it's more greedy than anything else. And I really hope that most of you guys just don't summon on this banner. I'm not going to be summoning. I'm not making a video. You know, I know just like with the Ultimate Gohan banner recently, Ultra Space Time Summon number 10, a lot of you guys got mad at me after I posted a summon video after I recommended it against summoning on it. And while I don't think that there's anything wrong with what I did, I am not going to be summoning on this banner, you know, other than dailies. We will do one daily today, guys. So this is the one summon that we're going to be doing today for the Ultra Space Time Summon number 11. And we are not touching this banner again. I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I got 7,300 Chrono Crystals saved up, and I'm going to be continually saving them up until we get another really, really good banner. Or at least, you know, something I'm remotely interested in. You know, if we got another Lineage of Evil team member, I would be pretty excited. I would probably summon on that banner, I'm not gonna lie. But otherwise, I'm kind of waiting for specific things like Super Vegeta or things like that. 100 Z medals, baby, let's go. All right, so that's gonna be about it for this one, guys. What do you think of this banner? Have you summoned on this banner? Did you get lucky? Did you not get lucky? Again, you know, I really want to know how you guys are doing and what your opinions are generally with it, because I'm one person, all right? You know, some people have different opinions than I do when it comes to every single thing that I say. So I love having discussions with you guys in the comment section, you know, which can sort of expand on my view of what these characters can be used for. You know, I think that the best example of that happening in previous times was when I thought that Super Saiyan Bardock was going to be irrelevant. You guys were like, crit rate is OP, chicken, you dumb, what are you doing? You know, and then I revised my opinion. So yeah, let me know what you think of today's banner, but that is going to be it for this one. As always, have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next one. Till then, guys, peace.